Hello, my stamping friends. Here at Tammy Dawn Creates. Today we're going to make a beautiful coastal card, and it's from the Seaside Wishes bundle. Let's take a look at this. And I'm going to show you a few tips about today's card. We're going to be doing some special ink embossing and also some color saturation on the starfish. So let's get started. In today's card, we're going to be featuring Seaside Wishes bundle, and it has a beautiful sand dollars, starfish, and some lovely sentiments. Today we're going to be using "You Absolutely Made My Day," and sometimes the simplest things mean the most. And I have been waiting for this hybrid 3D embossing folder. It was not available when I got the stamp set, but now, my friends, order away. Everything's available at Stampin' Up, including the Seaside Wishes dies. So I don't know if you're familiar with this, but when you get the hybrid, it's an embossing folder that the dies go inside of the folder, and you can cut and emboss at the same time. I have some tricks to show you, so stick around. Let's put this card together. Let's go over the supply list that we're going to need to create this beautiful coastal card. First, it's going to start with the ink selections. Today I've chosen Calypso Coral, Pretty Peacock, and Crumb Cake. Also wanted to highlight today the paper. This is a designer series paper, Country Woods, and I have chosen what I consider to be a coastal plank. This is going to be used as a backdrop on our card today. Also wanted to show you all the different patterns that come in this paper pack. So you have 6 different patterns, and they come 12 by 12, all double-sided. As you can see, I've used quite a lot of this, and let me tell you, my friends, this is some gorgeous paper. I suggest everybody get a pack of this or 2. You're going to use it all year for every card you want to create. So let's start with the dimensions. We're going to be using the base Pretty Peacock, and also in order to highlight everything that we're going to layer onto this card, I have cut it at landscape, which is 8.5, cut at 4 1/4, and then we are scored at 5.5. The designer series piece that we're putting behind is 5 1/4 by 4. What I've done here is I've laid everything out so you can see the measurements, you can stop the video, and you can double check. I will also post them in the description of the video. We have the inside white, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. This is the matting that's going behind this piece. It is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. They're the same. These are going to be all of our die cutting measurements. This is 4.5 by 6. This is basic white, and we are going to show you something really special about the hybrid embossing folder today, adding ink. Then I went ahead and put some old olive in here, 3 by 3, and some more Pretty Peacock, 3 by 4, 2.5 by 4. We're going to stamp the starfish, and then just a simple label cut greeting piece just so we can put our sentiment on that. So let's get started creating. One of the first things I want to show you about the hybrid embossing folder is, how do you put the die in? Which side? How do you know? Well, simple. You see the logo stamping up on the front, you open it up, the coordinating dies lock right into place. You can hear it click, just like that. You know you're ready to go. I want to show you before I ink it up. On the hybrid folders, they're very thick. You do not want to put the paper all the way up into the crease. So what I'm going to do is ink this up, close it, and then we're going to run it through the embossing folder. Now this is where the magic happens. You have your embossing folder, and you're going to want to ink up the same side that you lay the die into. So I'm going to take my crumb cake, and we're going to put all that detail ink onto all of this. Beautiful, look at that. The sand dollars, I'm going to put quite a bit because we're running it through with basic white. I want a lot of detail. Like that. This is going to lock right in. Just like that. So the next thing we want to do is lay our basic white straight down. Close our folder. And then everybody wants to know, with the Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss machine, what do you use for a hybrid folder? So I'm going to go through that. You have your base plate 1, and it says right here, with using the 3D embossing folder, you want to use number 1 and number 4. So we'll just lay this down. Put your embossing folder in with the seam side first. Sandwich it and run it through. Yes, I can hardly wait to show you. There you go. Take that off. Wait for the reveal. Oh, look at that. Let's just get rid of the die. Pull your paper off. And you want a scrap paper for this. Let it dry for a moment, but look at the detail on these sand dollars. Friends, let me tell you something. I tried it in white. I tried it with just crumb cake. I know a lot of people are using crumb cake, but for me, this is the ultimate. This is the most beautiful sand dollar, and it looks so authentic. I know you're going to want to try this technique. It's so realistic. I love it. All you have to do is take this to the sink, wash it off, or use your chamois. Let me get this cleaned up. Let's go over some of the basic plates that we're using when we do our die cutting, because I had a situation happen to me and I have a new machine. So if this happens, I've got a tip for you as well. So when you start and you want to make a sandwich for regular dies, you have to put your base plate 1, your cutting plates 3, and then there also is a number 2 shim. So you put your 1, your plate 2, and I normally keep my cutting, most of them, on the same plate, which is face down like that, and then you would go ahead and add your dies and your paper on like this. Just run them through. Hear a little snap and some pops. That's normal. And you can see that they are cut out. And what I want to show you in this little tip today, these little sponge pieces. So use the same sandwich, 1, 2, both of 3s. And what happened to me is this. Has this ever happened to anybody? You run it through, you have all the shims, you have everything you need, it won't punch out. So this is what you do, my friends. Go ahead, get your paper, put them in, and what you have to do is add this is just some crumb cake, basic cardstock in with the dies. And that's going to give you just a smidgen more of pressure and it will cut them out. And you'll hear it popping. And my friends, I ran that through 2 or 3 times. This, I'm just going to run back one more time. This is important. You're waiting for a bundle to come and you get it and you're so excited. See the impression? And you're going to cut some pieces out. Now they're cut. There you go. Now all you have to do, push these all the way through. Now it's time to do some stamping. We have our major pieces die cut and laid out and ready to roll. Let's do some starfish. Calypso coral. I'm going to ink it up pretty good. Give it a firm press. And the way this stamps, and you'll see, it's a high and low impression on this stamp set. And I'm going to show you another trick on how to get this completely saturated. And just stamp 2 more starfish. And my friends, I need to tell you something. This chamois, it's a must-have. It cleans your stamps. You don't have to take anything else away from the table. You don't have to go anywhere. Of course, pinks, reds, corals are going to stain our polymer stamps. But this way you can get the ink off immediately, pull it off, let it dry for a minute, and pop it right back into the stamp set. Okay, my friends, so I'm going to show you a tip. No matter how much ink you put on the starfish for the stamp, when you go to die cut this out, you're going to get a white border. And for me, it just wasn't enough. So let me show you a tip how to get this starfish to really pop on the front of your cards. What's the answer? The answer is blending brush. These are fantastic. You can use these for so many different things, including if you want to add more ink after you stamp. So all we have to do, and we're going to go in with some Calypso coral. Now, my friends, you have to be careful because these pieces are very delicate and you don't want to rip one of their arms off. So I've already inked this up and we're just going to stroke it like away from the center until, look at that. And you have your pieces as dark as you want them. And remember, this is going to pop because we have the Calypso coral cardstock underneath there, which is saturated like this. There you go. Now I'm just going to do the little ones. It's time to put this beautiful coastal card, Seaside Wishes, sand dollar starfish card together. I'm going to go ahead and adhere down these 2 layers and then we'll start assembling. And here's another tip. If you have smaller pieces that you're going to group together onto a card, it's always easier to go ahead and figure out your layout and then use the mini glue dots to assemble them. Just pop one on. You have your adhesive. You're going to lay them on like that, and then you still have glue hanging over. So once you adhere it like that, you can, and I've actually cut the bottom of this off to use at the other end, just like that. So this will go onto our card, ready to go behind the sand dollar. Highlighting that sculpted edge. easiest way that I have found to do these smaller things, just lay your glue at an angle, little bit of pressure, and just pass across it. Just like that. I'm gonna layer this down. We want both of these pieces to be showing the corners about right there. The next sand dollar we're gonna pop on dimensionals. So I've strategically placed them so we could get our starfish tucked underneath. So I have 3. We're gonna put a starfish here and 1 here. So you wanna put it down where you can still tuck underneath it, like that. In order to have the pieces slightly over the greeting, this will have to go on next. This is going to be our layering piece. Underneath the leg of the starfish and part of the sand dollar. You'll see, you'll love it. Using the planks, you want to make it so it's level, centered, looks great, and give it a push down. Adding the last sand dollar, what we're going to do is we have a difference in height here. So figure which way you want to lay it down. And we're going to add Stampin' Dimensionals on this side and some liquid adhesive on this side. I want this to be hanging over just a smidgen onto my banner greeting. Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. This card just keeps getting better and better by the minute. I'm more excited. I decided to pop them up and put a little arm over the top of the sand dollar. So what I'm going to do also is use some of the Stampin' dimensional bones because it's such a small piece. Take your old scissors, not your paper snips, cut a little tiny piece off, and we're going to add it. There's a certain way. They got to be happy. The legs got to be kicking out. So we're going to put a dimensional right underneath that. Are you ready to finish this up? Let's go ahead and tuck these starfish under. Using the Stampin' Dimensionals, you want to turn it so his little leg comes up. Give it a pop. As well, I'm going to pop this one up too. They're so happy. We have that Stampin' Dimensional right there. Let's add some glue to the rest of him. Make sure he's ready to go down. There you go. Perfect layers. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Now let's do the inside. I added some sand up here on the sentiment. Go ahead and put this on the inside and our card is complete. All right, my Stampin' friends. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this card as much as I enjoyed designing it for you. I know you're going to love creating this card. If you're interested in purchasing any of the products I demonstrated today, please visit TammyDawnCreates.com for any stamping supplies. Again, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.